The crew of a research and drilling facility is destroyed by a powerful earthquake beneath the water, but as they make their way to the surface, they learn the horrible truth about what caused the earthquake. Will they be able to withstand nature's power? With the Kepler 822, a corporation by the name of Shin Industries is attempting to undertake the Mariana Trench's deepest dig. They dispatch a team to drill and conduct studies in untouched areas of the trench in question. The Kepler 822 firm denies the claims made in one of the news pieces, which claims that there have been weird occurrences at the drill site. The mechanical engineer at the station, Norah, talks about her long experience working underwater. She claims that working underwater for several months in a row will cause you to lose your sense of day and night, but it doesn't matter to her. Throughout the morning routine, Norah detects a rumbling sound. She checks it after she exits the lavatory and discovers water dripping from the ceiling. The building suddenly encounters ocean waters. While frantically running to alert the others to the pressure breach, she finds Rodrigo, another member of her crew. The seal on the bulkhead is jammed, so when the two go to close it, they are unsuccessful. After successfully repairing the seal, Norah is about to seal it when she notices some of her crewmates backing away from the bulkhead while yelling for them to stop. However, they won't arrive in time. Therefore, in order to preserve the remainder of the station, Norah must close the bulkhead. The two pass out when the control panel explodes out of nowhere. When they regain consciousness, they are informed of the approaching structural failure by the alert. It turns out that 70% of the station has been compromised, and the reactor is currently unstable, so it is urged that all of the staff members on the Kepler 822 head to the pod bays for an expedient evacuation. The two first attempt to speak with the control center, but when they are unable, they begin moving towards the pod bays. When they come across a functional computer, Norah begins looking for the closest pod bay. She receives Rodrigo's assurance that sealing the bulkhead is the best course of action at the time. When he then inquires about whether an earthquake caused the pressure breach, Norah replies that she is unsure. They swiftly leave after discovering the evacuation pod. However, it is a little more difficult for them to get through due to the incident's damage. The three crawl through a very small space where they discover a dead body before arriving at the pod bay where they encounter Lucian, the captain of Kepler station, and Norah discovers that all of the escape pods in the bay have vanished. Paul's body is fortunate not to be caught in the rocks, so the two can easily help him get up. When Lucian asks Norah about the rig situation, she replies that it's really terrible and says he should ask Rodrigo and Paul to see where the submersibles are. The captain, who has a daughter at home, didn't flee initially, which surprises Norah. Lucian fixes Norah's wound after declaring that it is his responsibility as captain to ensure everyone's safety before his own. Thinking about all the people who didn't serve but lived because she shut the bulkhead, Norah is having a breakdown. She is comforted by Lucian, who advises her not to obsess over what transpired later. When Norah reaches the main control base, she meets Emily, the station's biologist, and Liam, another engineer. Lucian. When the survivors' situation becomes critical, Rodrigo and Paul arrive since Lucian is unsure when help will arrive. They evaluate the situation and determine that a meltdown could occur due to the unstable reactor. They'll undoubtedly die in the explosion that results from this. Calculating the amount of time they have since there are no escape pods or submersibles available, and Norah estimates that the meltdown will occur in roughly 30 minutes, Lucian determines that they will head to Robux 641. Another station, Robux 641, is about a mile away. The captain said that they would walk when Kepler questioned how they were going to get there, and the crew became perplexed. Lucian intends to descend to the ocean floor using the freight elevator and then travel to the halfway station via the access tunnel. They will proceed to the charging station to charge and clean their suit, then follow the markings to Roebuck. At this point, Liam instructs the group to pay attention to the most recent drill site message. As they listen, they pick up a strange sound that worsens the situation because it resonates across the area. The outside temperature climbs by 10 degrees. The crew expresses skepticism about Lucian's strategy, but they are forced to don the pressurized suits. Everyone is receiving a helmet from Rodrigo while Liam and Paul get some weapons. They carry the firearms just in case the strange noise they heard in the broadcast was made by some sort of animal. Emily, on the other hand, is quite frightened and anxious, but they reassure her that everything will be alright as the crew falls to the ocean and the floor above them is shattered by pressure. The pressure will unfortunately hit them hard as soon as the door opens because the outer hatch has been broken. Norah notices Rodrigo's helmet is damaged at that very moment. Liam is quickly told to keep the door closed by her, but it is already too late. Rodrigo collapses as the pressure causes the helmet on his head to fully crack. Although Emily cries in horror as she observes Rodrigo's horrific demise, the squad must continue moving forward because of the limited air they have. When Norah gets to the freight elevator, she looks out, and all she sees is the black ocean. Norah understands that Rodrigo had to be aware that his helmet was defective yet still handed her the right one. Emily, who is witnessing everyone's horrific death for the first time, is still shocked. The crew then notices a distress signal coming from one of the escape pods. Suspecting that there may be a problem, someone needs to go and be sure. According to Lucian, before leaving, Paul and Liam offer to help out. Paul presents Emily with Paul Jr., his favorite plush toy. When the two guys get ready to go out, because it is vital to him to make everyone feel less tense, Emily strikes up a discussion. She inquires about their marital statuses with Lucian and Norah. While Lucian claims to have been married and to have a daughter, Norah remains silent. The cameras in their outfit and the area they view are all turned on by Norah. Liam and Paul travel to the escape pod. The pod is wrecked and covered in some form of algae when the two arrive at it, but Paul claims it is not algae. They discover the crew member's dead body as they continue their search. Norah advises them to leave it alone and to simply return to the lift, but Paul doesn't heed her advice and continues to examine the body using his camera, when something suddenly emerges from the dead person's back and attacks Paul. The three people in the lift see that something is moving from the back of the body. Fortunately, Liam is able to kill the creature, and they then bring it back to the lift. The creature is roughly the length of an arm and is unlike anything that has ever been seen by humans. When Emily examines it, she finds that its tentacles have tiny talons. She believes it to be a species of marine life that has not yet been identified and is present in the ocean's deepest regions. She is unfortunately cut off as the lift loses power. They are fortunately only 200 meters above the ocean's surface, so Norah can easily glide them back down, but then they begin to hear the same noise they did before. A large beast lands on top of the lift at this point. Paul asks if the creature they brought in is just a newborn after having a realization. After that, they heard a loud roar and some knocking. While Norah notes that they have already detached from the station and questions why they are not moving down at this moment, Lucian insists that they must immediately descend to the ocean's floor. The crew rushes to the pressure chamber after donning all of their. Norah deceives them by claiming that all three pods are functional. As Liam hears this, he orders the women to go first, but Norah and Emily demand that he go first due to his injury. Liam praises Emily for dragging him across the ocean floor later as she gets him ready for takeoff. Paul Jr. receives it from Norah, who instructs him to present it to Paul's family at this time. Norah refuses to wait for Emily to take the next pod, even though she is instructed to. As Emily discovers there is a problem with the third pod, she becomes upset since she does not want to leave. Norah assures her that she will be able to fix it in time. Although Emily offers to assist her, she declines. After pointing out that Emily shouldn't miss the chance to be with Liam, Norah pushes Emily one last time into the pod. Norah apologizes to Emily and then punches her in the face as Emily tries to leave. After the two escape pods successfully launch a school of the smaller creatures after them, the gigantic one stays in the station after making sure that her friends are secure, and Norah assures everyone that everything will be okay. Norah simply sits on the ground and prepares to die. She approaches the window and turns to face the enormous creature in front of her. She chooses to kill the monsters after realizing this. In order to save her friends, Norah overloads Roebuck's nuclear core and causes a huge underwater explosion. All of the animals, including the gigantic one, are destroyed by the explosion, allowing Emily and Liam to safely return to the surface. After that, the scene shifts to a new story about Emily and Liam making it through the situation at the drilling station. but Industries forbids either Emily or Liam from giving a public interview. The corporation also won't divulge any information about the occurrence. The entire situation is kept under wraps. Even though the circumstances surrounding the earlier incident are still unknown, TN Industries continues the drilling project as the film ends. It is also a goosebump moment when the movie reveals that the adult form of the creature is as big as the station, with a monster that appears to be a combination of a titan and a kraken. Underwater is a good horror, sci-fi, and kaiju movie. The movie did an outstanding job of switching the threat of the movie from a simple earthquake underwater to a reveal of the creature living in the deepest part of the sea.